and Tuma Mullins.
Thank you very much, Kieran. How you going, Shook? Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to the evening session of the 2019 Golden Shears. This is Norm Haraway. Norm is from down the south somewhere where they got that statue of a big fish. I think it's a salmon, is that right, Norm?
There's a salmon there, Tommy, you're right. There's a couple of statues of big fish down there. One's a trout, one's a salmon. I'm from where the salmon is, at Rakaya. Anyone here from the South Island? Speak up now or forever hold your peace. Go to the south.
Nobody.
So, yeah. So, Rakaya, they have the great big salmon competition there. It's quite popular. Over 500 entries every year, folks. And this year was quite special. I was talking to an old mate. The biggest salmon caught ever this year. There's an old one-armed fisherman. He comes to the competition every year. Got very, very lucky. And he caught a salmon this big, Tuma. This big.
The one-armed one. Yeah, there's some pretty weirdo, pretty big, quite a few weirdos down the South Island. I think Norma's not one of them, but he has his moments. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with the pressing event, the men's singles. And we haven't got Jeremy here.
Jeremy's here, I hope, supporting his brother, but he's not in the final. So who is in the final, Tuma?
Okay, if we can have our two finalists come up, I'll bring on one, you bring on the other one. If we can please have Vinny Goodger from Masterton come up to the stage, please. Give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. And this man from Napier, ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Stevens. Good luck, Ricky. Good luck, mate. So this is a copycat of last year's final, Toma, is that right?
It sure is. This is exactly the same two competitors from the final last year. Now, I don't think anyone that's from out of Masterton has won this event, well, as long as I can remember. So Ricky Stevens, it's up to you. He's from Napier. But we are going to bring on our commentator for this event, Gerald Spain. So Gerald, if you could come up here, please, mate. Everybody give him a hand. Gerald's been doing the pressing all the way through for the last 2 days.
So Gerald Spain, you might have noticed, ladies and gentlemen, over the last couple of years, he has absolutely owned the pressing stage down the back. Great to have you here again. This is your event, Gerald, and you've got it for the next 50 years.
Thanks very much, Norm. Thank you, Tuma. All right, ladies and gentlemen, plenty of action apiece here. Vinny is your current champion, folks. Born and bred Masterton boy, won the last 2 years. Ricky here, yes, from Napier, made the final here last year, as you heard. The only difference we've got is they're on the different stands. The other difference we've got is we had a playoff in the semi-finals this afternoon with this here. Top qualifier into this event is Ricky. So in a way, it's one each. Okay? It'll be 9 minutes-ish. 9.5. We've got these very diligent judges here, Peter Cox and Carl Cox. Okay? A couple real good judges. They do not get distracted. They stay on the job. I'm starting to hear a bit of a murmur. You want some action. A good game's a fast one. Are you right, Ricky? We're looking for 170 kgs, ladies and gentlemen, and they will get it really close, 170 kgs.
Must remember, Gerald, that they've got to get up and stop the clock on stands 2 and 5. They are their own timekeepers.
Do you want to do are you good to do a swap? We've got the names on the computer the other way.
All set now, Gerald, all set.
You're good to go. Once again, looking for 170. I'll grab the paperwork. Two and 5. You've got to push those buttons when you finish, guys, to stop it. The points will be accumulating. In that case, once again, Masterton, you're here for a good time. Are you ready for some pressing action? Yes. In that case, the officials are ready. Pressers, on your marks, get set, go. All right. Here we go. All the things that are getting judged here are safety issues, some, okay? Winding up the box, getting the pins in, how you wind the box down, all these things, all these little wee tricks and things that have to be correct under the watchful eye of the judges. Let's start hyping up as Vinny's big arm starts sweeping the woolen, ladies and gentlemen. Look at him go. Here's Ricky Stevens. Booyah, right, that's that one done. Once again, here we go. Vinny's done to do some crochet, some knitting. He's got it together. Boom. Whoa. Either you're stunned or impressed or you've gone quiet. Ricky Stevens, ladies and gentlemen, what a silence grab that is. The big JCB. Come on, Ricky. Vinny's in the top box, got the corners all squashed up. You've got to get into every corner here. 170 kgs is a lot of weight. I'll keep moving so I'm not in everyone's way. We'll get in the middle. Here goes Ricky Stevens again, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a hand, he's starting to tire maybe. Oh, huge armful. Vinny into the corners. Very energy sapping stuff. Okay, if you've ever run up a sand hill, and you probably haven't, but if you have, it drags the energy out of you, very much like pressing wool. It keeps coming back at you. It sucks the energy out of it. All right, Vinny. Corner time for him. I'd say he's getting happy with the top box at this stage. The pattern very similar. Top box, loading up. Here we go. Look at them working hard. They know this wool. They've done it in those heats and semi-finals out the back. It takes a lot of wool to make 170 kgs. And it takes a lot of IQ to know when you're very close within a K. And a K is not a big handful of wool, to know that you're handy there. And you need to be handy. There's a main reason for that, because there's a whole lot of points tied up in and around the weight of the bale. All right, Vinny's given the pack a bit of ear. I think that's where they may have invented those beanbag things where you sort of switch them around and then tie the top of it and you can sit in it out in the sun. The shearers and pressers have invented a whole lot of stuff around the place. The days of the old paint-on plasters that they invented, shearers had been doing that with super glue for years on their fingers when they wore them out from shearing sheep, and the pressers have invented the air beanbag. Right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Are you with the Masterton? He's your born and bred boy. Can he do 3 in a row? Will it be a hat trick for Vinny? One big step in. You see that, folks? Nothing to him. Into the corners he goes. Come on, Ricky. You're going to have to give us some stick, mate. We know Vinny is very quick. He's knitting. He's crocheting. Here we go. Another big load. Look at that. Incredible. Another one big step. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yes. A round of applause for that. Vinny dives into the corners. Ricky's back. Come on, folks. Ricky Stevens, ladies and gentlemen. Napier, look at that. Look at the posture. Bent nice and low, and up he come. A little Precious Mackenzie sort of lift. Ooh, we go. Oh, yeah, here's Vinny again. How is Ricky Stevens fan club out there? They are stunned too. He is holding his own at this stage. He's only one armful behind Vinny. Coming in as top qualifier, if I need to remind you again, Vinny says, I think I'm getting close to 170. Look at this. 170. Ricky is gasping for a little bit of air. We'll steady the ship for a little bit. Once again, into the corners. The corners is a key. This here, when it comes out, that bale has to have nice tight corners. It's another aspect of judging. And logically, the points should be coming up on the board. They're not at the moment, but it was a bit of a plan that we had. But anyway, we'll have to improvise. It's going to be a totally unknown, until we do the prize giving later on with your great MC, Kieran McAnulty will be taking care of that. But in between times, we've got 4 or 5 minutes work to do. Here we go. Vinny says, I'm happy. That's 170. How do you know that? That comes from pressing in the shed day in, day out, bale after bale after bale. He's winding it up, boys and girls. Roundy flicks it. A big art to winding that up as well. You get a little bit carried away trying to wind that up. The top box starts wiggling like this, and she starts putting a lot of friction in it, locks up and gets all over the place. There's a real trick to winding that up real fast, straight up like that. Right, he does a bit of tidying up, a little bit of housekeeping. Gets the lux out, lifts up the mat, has a wee sweep under there. Come on, Ricky, you're going to have to give us some stick, mate. You don't want to be losing these time points. 1 point every 20 seconds. He's in for the tidy up. I think he's happy too. His tactics in the semi-final was really try to nail the bale. It needs a lot of wool. And Ricky took his time and he stuffed every corner of the globe. Okay, and he whacked her in there at 170 kgs, which brought him to top place by a few points, if I need to remind you that as well. On to the broom. You've got to have a nice, clean work area. So Vinny's getting that done. Here's the wind up, ladies and gentlemen, for Ricky Stevens. There's the wiggle of the box I was telling you about. And she locked up just for a wee second. Around he goes now. Right. In some sheds, presses are lucky. They have Vanguard presses with hydraulics. Bzzz, lock up, bzzz, down it comes. Not here at the Golden Shears. There's no hydraulics, no free lunches here. We're not giving away ribbons and accolades at the Golden Shears. You have to earn them. And that's what Vinny's going to do here. Look at this boy go. In about here. Remember, he's been going probably 4 or 5 minutes now. Vinny, are you from Masterton? Yeah, I think he is. Come on. Come on, Vinny. He's still doing 3 clicks at a time. This takes a lot of energy, ladies, and he's dropped to 2. Come on, bring him home. He's dropped to 2. Will he drop to 1? Oh, all the way, all the way. 2 all the way. Huge effort. Now the branding. The branding's another part, okay? We don't want all these bales in the shed with different lines of wool getting mixed up. This is your main line. This is the important stuff. All the wool handlers have sorted this to add value to the farmer. We don't want it getting mixed up. We don't want it ending up in the wool store, getting tangled up with someone else's wool, and you not getting paid. He hasn't done, ladies and gentlemen. He's got another couple. He took a breather. Went over and done a few light duties for a wee minute or 2. There we go. Now he's down to 1. There he is. He's finished this time, folks. All right, Ricky. Come on, Ricky. Your fan club's having a couple of the beersies now. They're starting to get a bit noisy. The box has got to go down once again, judged on how strong he's holding that arm. You let that arm go and the gravity pushes that box down. It comes flying down. It will break your arm as much as look at it. Okay, takes absolutely nothing. Right. This is a positive thing to do, the double check. On these important aspects, to do the double check. And here we go. On to the pins goes Vinny. Oh, Ricky has got some wool in here, folks. Anyone from Napier here? Ricky, here we go. He's responding to the whip, ladies and gentlemen. What a finish he's doing. You know, Kiwi, the racehorse, it stepped out at 500 metre mark and comes storming home in the Mountain Cup and won it. Well, here comes Ricky Stevens. He's going to come home with a big finish too. You're going to have to help him, ladies and gentlemen. Pull the whip for him. Pull the whip again. Light duties. Round back he goes. The branding. What action apiece. We've got so much on tonight. And what a way to start it. Right. So Vinny here has now, what's he done? He's had a couple of three things he's did here. He's lifted that box to get a bit of an idea whether he thought he had too much or too little. Have you still got the whip out, you Napier people? The fan club for Ricky Stevens. Come on. Come on, give him a wee tickle up. That's what we like. Come on, Ricky. Good work. Top shearer, this man, top sportsman, both of them. It's a tough place to be up here because they're both good buggers, mind my French, but they are. They're both great competitors, they're both great sports people, and they're both really great citizens, basically. Here we go, we've got the wine down there. But Vinny's on the clip up. What's going to happen from here? He's going to clip up. He's going to pull those pins out, have a bit of a tidy up. The bail's going to come out. He's going to stick his hand in the air, and it's going to happen real quick. Come on, Ricky. Give it everything you got, mate. 1 point every 20 seconds. He's having a tidy up too. He says, right, we can't have that wall hanging out. It's going to get in the way. We're not going to drop pins through. But at this stage, the clips are on. Vinny says, catch me if you can, young fella. I'm not willing to give up the top podium spot that easy. Ricky's got one through, bangs another one. Oh yeah, locks it up, puts it underneath the cap there, see that? He's going to have a huge weight on it. But hey, Masterton, if you want to stamp your feet, if you want to clap your hands, if you want to whistle and holler, get ready because it's going to happen real soon. Here's the Vinny Goodger. The Goodger name has dominated the scene here at Masterton for a number of years. Will it be again this year? Well, if you want to be part of it, now's a good time to start. Come on, Vinny, give it heaps. The tidy up. He's going to present this bail incredibly well. It's only locked down now. Sweep under the carpet. Get ready to stamp those feet. Whistle and clap your hands. Vinny Goodger, born and bred right here at Masterton, ladies and gentlemen. Well done, Vinny. The game is not over. We'll know that later on when it gets announced. Right now, cap's gone. I'm really glad this is a smoke-free stadium because Ricky, he's making me puff and get tired just watching this man work. Look at the sweat pouring off him. Gasping for air. As I was saying before, what they've done here is they've been able to lift that box, they've been able to pull that down. They know roughly the feel and the density of wool. Wool has a different density all the time. And they know, oh, I think I've got a wee bit much in there. Let's see if I can get rid of a wee bit here and there. And that's what he's doing. Now it's clip time.
Did you hit your button, Vinny?
Hit it, mate. We'll have that. We'll have that out the back. Up and over. Ricky Stevens. Sweat still pouring off him, folks. Three clips in the top flap. 4. He's starting to lock her up now. Oh, he's short. He's got that much wool in there. He is short. I don't know whether you can see this from where you are. If you can, without getting in Ricky's way, take a note of the pack. Ricky's got that much wool in there. The pack is starting to give way, folks. He's locked it up. Now he's got to get these two together, which is a little bit of a drama when you can't. Come on, Ricky. Come on, Ricky. Here we go. Get the whip out again. Go, Ricky. Oh. He's close. Once upon a time, they didn't have capless ones. That was a few years back in my day. We had a different cap. And you actually put that on. It was a cap on its own. And you would sew it up around the sides. But the string that you used, this baling twine you used, would end up in the wool. And it would become a contaminant itself. So they went to these here, the capless caps. And they staple them up. And what happens to the wool in the wool scare goes under a huge big magnet. If a staple's in there, kabang. I've got you, baby. You're out of there. Okay. So that's the theory behind all these clips here now. No baling twine to be... oh, look, he's getting it together, folks. To get in the way. He's locking her up. He has got some wool in there. Scales are right here. Ricky has worked hard. It is really hot up here, folks. Come on, Ricky, come on. Stay with it, mate. Is Ricky a determined man and an incredible athlete, or what, ladies and gentlemen? He's locked her up. He's locked her up. It's duck shooting time in Southland. Boom, 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 boom. The pins are free. Here we go. The momos have been lit up. We'll let the bail out. We'll set it free. Will the weight of this bail be enough? He has ripped this fadge 2 to 3 inches. You've got to admire the stamina of this man. I'm telling you, it's seriously hot up here. He's an incredible competitor. He does not give in. There is no such thing as chucking the towel in and taking the gloves off. It's no holds barred with Ricky Stevens. Oh, jolly. Wow. 170 kgs we're looking for, Vinny. Should we? Well, how do you think you went in general?
I feel like I pressed all right. It's always hard pressing up here on a small stage and with everybody watching, but I think I might be about 5 kilos a bit short.
You're thinking 65, 165. Okay. We'll come back. We'll have a yarn to you, Ricky, in a wee minute when we get this bail underway. Right, so we're looking for the 170, knowing there's a lot of points tied up in and around here and the weights of these bales. Is that a confirmed, judges? Confirmed weight? This is Vinny's bale over here. Number 2, Vinny Goodger, you're a born and bred man. We're looking for 170. Vinny Goodger. 174.5. That's pretty good, folks. Does that surprise you, obviously, Vinny?
Yeah, it's always a better result to hear the bale a bit heavier than the target weight, so I'm quite pleased about that, yeah.
Good man. Okay, Ricky, what are you thinking? You had a bit of a battle there. Look at the sweat pouring off this guy. Did you like the determination and the athleticism of this man? Just generally, Ricky, we had a few issues with the staples, but you've got a power amount of wool in there.
Oh, I don't know how Vinny can speak. I'm out of breath, man. It's bloody hard up here, I tell you. I encourage everyone to get up here and give it a go next year. So if you're here, get your name on their list.
Hey, thanks, Ricky. All right, Ricky Stevens from Napier. We're looking for 170 again. The rules are still the same? Yep. No, confirmed title? Confirmed title? Thank you. And again, we're looking for 170, and the total is 174.5. We've got a tie, ladies and gentlemen. What a way to start the Golden Shears for Friday evening. Time. We'll have to work all that out. Wow. Sensational stuff. Right, we're going to clear the floor. While they leave the stage, we'll find out those results later on through Kieran McAnulty, the MC. So give them a round of applause. Ricky Stevens from Napier, the workhorse, and Vinny Goodger, your very own Masterton boy. Just while I'm here, and I don't have to say this, but I've been doing the pressing out there for the last couple of days, and I'd really like to congratulate these two judges here. They've been judging flat stick for hours for the last day and a half, and not once have I seen them take the eye off the ball. It's Peter Cox and Carl Cox. Please give them a round of applause. They've been a couple of tremendous judges. Both of them are very professional and very accurate. Okay, I'll hand you back to Norm Haraway, my South Island man.
Good on you, Gerald. And of course, keep that applause going for Gerald Spain, ladies and gentlemen. He owns the pressing here at the Golden Shears, and it's great to have him down here every year, because he is from the deep south. Go the south, Gerald. So This is our sponsors night, and a huge thank you to all our corporate tables and all our sponsors that have had input into the Golden Shears once again. A lot of sponsors have been with us for many, many years, and we do thank you. And of course, a big welcome to any new sponsors this year, any prospective sponsors for next year as well. It means a lot to have you guys here witnessing these athletes, our pressers and our shearers and our wool handlers. They drive our industry, and it's great to have that recognition on the sporting side of it. So thank you guys very much, all our sponsors, folks.
Troy Piper to get your signet, please.
So, and of course, speaking of our sponsors, a big thank you to the major sponsors for the wool pressing here at the Golden Shears. Farmlands Cooperative, as you guys down here, by the look of it, thank you guys very much. And Woolpacks New Zealand, wherever you guys are, Woolpacks New Zealand. So hook into that sponsor's product there. It comes from somewhere else. You don't have to pay for it. Get into it. Might come and join you later on. So I'd just like to introduce you now, ladies and gentlemen, to Brent Gear from More FM. Brent's going to come up here. He's just going to do something quick while we get cleaned up, get all these cleaned up and set up for the top 30. Welcome along, Brent. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Tom. What a night. What a fantastic night. Absolutely amazing to Vinny and Ricky. Put your hands together, folks. I can tell you now, it's hot enough doing it, but it's warm enough on stage. So put your hands together again for our wool pressers. Unbelievable. Farmlands, CP Wool. Great to see the teams here as well. Look, it is my distinct pleasure tonight to welcome onto the stage an absolute legend, not only in the King Country, but in Wairarapa and around the world, Sir David Fagan. This man is pretty impressive when you look. I think anyone who's got a Wikipedia page has done pretty bloody well. So you're thinking, 10 world titles, 16 Golden Shears titles, more titles than you can wave a stick at, and then of course he gets a knighthood because the man needs another title. He's an absolute legend, and we're going to ask him a few questions when he gets up here. Don't be shy, David. You've been on this stage a number of times. Oh, he's out the back. Oh, there we go. So it's all mental toughness. It's probably giving the young shearers a bit of a word. Top 30 on stage tonight. That's going to be impressive. Hey, while I'm here, there's a fantastic board out the back with a big hashtag on it called Love You More. Get your photo in it, upload it to Facebook, chuck in the hashtag, and we've got some wonderful Trust House vouchers to give away. So well worth doing. And then you can have a meal and or beverage is on us. So we would absolutely love you to do that. Congratulations once again to our More FM winners. We're very lucky to host a couple of winners here tonight. Got a wee goodie bag or three. Lots of different bits and pieces in there. More's the point. Is everyone having a good night? Does anyone want to know the Hurricane score? They haven't kicked off yet, so that's great. So far they're doing as well as they did the last 2 weeks. All right, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend. Please welcome Sir David Fagan. Well, what a night, another fantastic night at Golden Shears 2019. We've been doing this 59 odd years, 16 of those have been yours, mate. What do you go through? I mean, you watch the wool presses, you watch your shearers come on stage. Mentally, how do you prepare for this compared to what you're doing in the shed day to day?
How do I prepare for this?
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue because I didn't know I was coming up here.
Even better.
No, it's thanks for the warning though. It was good having a bit of preparation before I come up here.
Yeah, I just killed a bit of time, mate. Just having a yarn, you know.
No, getting back to what you asked, how do you prepare for this? This is what as shearers, this is what we live for, and this is our dream to get up here and perform. And as hard as it is, even when you get to Roland Smith's level and all the other top open shearers, this is their dream to get on Golden Shears stage. And all the shearers that come here, they live in their dream. And it's you just live that moment, and the bigger the stage, the better they'll go.
So once you enter and you go through that initial stage of trying to qualify, you hit the top 30 and you think, right, I'm almost there. It's not finished because you've got to get to that top 6, and that's not easy, is it? Some great competition at the moment.
Absolutely, and the hardest thing, even back in the day when I was doing it, was no matter how good you are, the hardest thing's making that final, making that top 6. And further on from that, on a year like this, when we've got a team going to France, the hardest thing for the Kiwis is making that top 2. There's so much depth there, and there's so many guys could represent in France. Doesn't matter who you are, the hardest thing is making that final. Once you're in there, you got a chance. So these guys tonight, it's simple really, one step at a time. Make that top 12, then take a breath and into it again tomorrow.
So we've seen Roland Smith in some fantastic form. He's been going through some goat shearing the last couple of months. David Buick's not far behind either. He's certainly taken a notch up. But then there's Johnny Kirkpatrick. I mean, the TAB can't separate either Johnny or David. But again, it all comes down to what happens on the stage, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's up to these guys really. They all know what to do. It's their mental strength, and it doesn't matter who you are or if you're a favourite or not. You've still got to get up there and perform. And believe me, the guys that are underneath that you never mentioned, that I'm not mentioning, they won't have any respect for that. They'll be giving it all, and names mean nothing up here. You just got to do it on the night.
So when you were doing this the first time compared to maybe the 10th or 11th time, your name gets called, you come up onto the boards. What's going through your mind at that stage? Just concentrate on the job? You got everyone yelling out, you know?
Yeah, you don't really hear anyone yelling out, but when you get to that stage, you're just concentrating on what you can do, because you're only in control of what you're doing yourself. Really, a lot of the time, you're shearing on your own up there, because if you're worrying about too many other people, you're not focusing on your own abilities. So, and above all, too, it's about enjoying it. I said it a few years ago to one of the competitors out of here. We might be competing up there, but you've got to have a good feeling. You're entertaining the crowd. So we want to see some entertainment tonight from the shearers.
It's going to be fantastic. So, David, appreciate your time, and well done on handling the blindside. Excellent. Thanks, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get back on the boards very, very shortly. Over to the noodles.
Sorry about that, mate.
Hi folks, the family of viewers for the 2019 Golden Shears. The Friday evening, I have in the studio with me Mr. Doug Lang. Doug is Shearing Sports New Zealand's publicity officer, guru, statistics, and all those good things that gives out the information to the World Wide Web. And Doug, welcome along to the studio tonight. We're going into the Bailey's Top 30.
Correct. They had their heats today, 71 score in the heats today, which was a pretty good number, and judging by recent years. And of course, no surprise there at all that Roland Smith is out there in front, the $1.20 TAB favourite. I think he may even shorten a little bit more yet. He actually had the third fastest time today, and he had the best points out and the pens out the back. So it just shows you the quality of the man, and he wasn't too far away either, about I think second or third best board judging points.
Wonderful lineup of any surprises that didn't make it the top cut?
None at all, really. It was more, I guess, a couple of surprises and guys that have got near the top. We see Sam Welch from Waikato near in Port Waikato. Sam had a bit to do with the
Shears.
Yeah, and before that the movie Mahana. And immediately after him, Ethan Pankhurst from here in Masterton. So Ethan was one of those guys that was a very prolific winner at senior level and what have you, and he's served that apprentice to get up to the stage, so he'll be very pleased to be there in at fourth place in the qualifying.
Well, we're going down the list of the qualifiers, and you talked about Ringa Kahapaiwai.
Exactly. Well, Ringa's qualified in seventh place, but a lot of people perhaps don't know this, but his brother, Eli, is actually in the very well-performed Napier group. 660.
660.
What do you like as a drummer? Or whatever.
The drummer is the slowest man in the shearing shoot, isn't it? Well, not Eli. Eli is the drummer of 660. Cam Ferguson's come away, hasn't he?
Well, exactly. Cam's started to come back right into it. Not quite as fit as he was, I guess, in the days when he won the world title and the Golden Shears back in 2010. But nevertheless, he's right there now up in 8th place in the qualifying today, so he's right within the show. And as we saw last night, he just about cracked the speed shear.
Missed the button.
Exactly, missed the button, and he missed the shot by about 1/10 of a second.
David Buick, Masterton's David Buick. He's a little bit down the field. He'd be quite comfortable sitting in 12th place, wouldn't he?
I think so, yeah. Doesn't put quite as much pressure on him. I guess he knows he will do better than that. Dave's very competent shearer, one of 3 or 4 guys I really give a shot here.
We haven't seen Dion King at a lot of competitions this year, but he went to Apathy in the Manawatu and did very well. He's come in at 13.
Yes, Dion was third at Apathy in the final there. You could tell his gear was running particularly well. Good effort. I'm really impressed with. Usually Dion's last side is something to watch. Watch his handwork completely. He's in control of their handpiece, and don't be at all surprised to see him up in that top 6 tomorrow night.
I watched him. I stayed specially to watch him this afternoon, and he shore comfortably. Wasn't fast. He just shore very nicely. We're throwing an Australian. He's coming at 14th place.
Exactly.
Jason Wingfield.
Yeah, dead right. Jason Wingfield, one of the senior statesmen almost of the Trans-Tasman series now. I think he's over here for his 20th test, I think, in those Trans-Tasmans. It takes the mantle really from Shannon Warnest, who ain't here this time, having shorn the last 30 tests in a row. Jason has qualified once before in 10th place in the top 30. I think he's only made the top 30 twice, I think.
Well, going down the field, it's a bit of a surprise that Johnny Kirkpatrick come in at 17th position out of the heats.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody from time to time has one that puts them down the list, but he'll undoubtedly improve from there. It doesn't rate him out of the chances at all. As we know, he's probably one of the top 3 or 4 guys going into this event. So he's there, he's safe, that's what matters.
I watched Bart Hatfield. Bart Hatfield, he's the judge going to France, Ladorat in France, and I'm sure there'll be some folks from France watching. Well, the manager's good enough to go as a shearer as well. He's coming at 18th position.
Yeah, exactly. Bart from Rukaturio out there in Northern Hawke's Bay, former Ahu Whenua Awards Multi-Farmer of the Year winner. 18th Bart's been there before, been in the top 30 a few times now. And as Koro said, a judge at the World Champs. It'll be interesting to see how Bart goes before. I think he's made the semi-final once, I think, off the top of my head. Yeah, interesting one there that we had a look at. There's Nathan Stratford, qualifies in 15th place. Nathan, there's the quality. Board points, half a point.
He lost three strokes on the boards.
Exactly. So that's Nathan's really real quality. If he can get that speed up, he'll be back into another Golden Shears Open final and giving it a real crack. Of course, he's the front runner also in the PGG Rights and Wool National Circuit.
We've got Tama near the Gisborne Flyer.
Yeah, Tama's one of those shearers that doesn't do a lot of shows. He'd have a pretty high strike rate of getting at least this far in the shows that he does do. I think he's had one open win.
It's great to see young Stacey Tahuya. Well, he's not young anymore, but he's the fine wool master and he's come in there. So he'll be looking to make that top 12 after tonight.
Exactly. Stacey shorn a few world records and merino ones as well. He's set world records on both sides of the Tasman. There's not many that have done that. He's been living in Forbes in Australia off on the last couple of years and coming over to New Zealand to do the second year particularly.
Well, there you go, folks, out there in the World Wide Web. This is the $4,000 event. This is the champion shearer. Tomorrow night, we will crown him the champion. He also gets a plane ticket to France, $4,000 in his back pocket, and he's going to be representing New Zealand in it. And then we go to Tikawiti to choose the second place getter, don't we?
Exactly, yeah. No matter what the cost of that ticket, it'll be worth more than the $4,000 tomorrow night, just in every possible respect. Yes, Tikawiti. The winner of Tikawiti will be the second machine shearer in the team. Of course, if one man wins both titles, then it'll be the runner-up.
Tikawiti.
Tikawiti will be the second man.
So we don't know who the heats, folks, but we'll tell you who the top 30 are. I'll do half and you do the other half.
Yep.
Okay, top qualifier was Roland Smith, Gavin Much, Sam Welch, Ethan Pankhurst, Mark Granger, Jack Fagan, Ringa Kahapaiwai, Cam Ferguson, Casey Bailey, Brett Roberts, Troy Piper, David Buick, Dion King, Jason Wingfield, and the 15th place is Nathan Stratford.
And then you've got Axel Reid, who won that open plate last year. Johnny Kirkpatrick won this 4 times. Bart Hadfield, of course, as we mentioned. Aaron Haynes, been runner-up. And the Goldies only had his first win, though, earlier this year. Ant Frew from down the South Island. Taman Nairnair from Gisborne. And Stacey Tahuya, as we've mentioned. Michael Fabish from Stratford. Martini Mason from Masterton. Pairata Abraham from Masterton. Tootie Edmonds from Raitahi. Lockie Baines, who's now hovering around Hastings, originally from Wairarapa. Murray Henderson from Halcombe in the Manawatu. Leon Samuels for down in Southland. And local boy, Dylan McGruddy.
The top 30, as Doug said, there were 71 shearers. We've put a line through them and some very good shearers sitting there. The 31, unlucky for some, Daniel McIntyre, the other Australian team member, Ricky Hunter Chase, all good shearers. And we're looking forward to the 60th birthday next year.
Indeed. I guess one thing you just said about Daniel McIntyre, by the way, Australian champion, 4 times Australian champion. Shannon Warner used to say one of the greatest things of his life was to get into the Golden Shears top 30. So that shows you the sort of standard we're looking at here.
Okay. Well, we're going to go back to the stadium. The boys are bringing on the shearers, and then we'll come back and you and I want to do some commentary on the screen.
Give him a hand.
Stand number 1, ladies and gentlemen, from Gisborne, Tamaniania.
We're going to fire up the big V8 from Pongaroa, David Buick, ladies and gentlemen.
And from the deep south, Casey Bailey, ladies and gentlemen, from Riverton. Go the south!
From Stratford, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Fabish, Michael Fabish from Stratford.
And last but definitely not least, this man had a real good share in the heats. From Wairarapa, folks, Sam Welsh.
Well, Norm, these guys, once they're all up on the stage, they can now turn around. Thank you very much, guys. They can now turn around, oil up their gear, have a quick look over their sheep. They've probably got 2 or 3 minutes, haven't they, to look over their sheep. We've got some judges coming up on the board, ladies and gentlemen. There are ladies and gentlemen judges coming up. And what they're doing up there on the board is they are looking for double cutting of the wool and also impeding other shearers. Isn't that right, Norm?
Yes, that's dead right, Toma.
So when the shearer takes the belly off, if he flicks it too hard behind him and it goes on the competitor's behind him head, well, he'll get penalised for that because that's impeding other shearers.
So give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, our Shearing Sports New Zealand judges. These judges spend a lot of the year travelling around all the competitions, not just here at the Golden Shears, but all the little competitions all around the country, officiating at all these shows. So they do a lot of miles and it's all voluntary. Give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, as Shearing Sports judges. Well, Tuma, heat number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got a hell of a line-up here in the first heat, so let's see how it unfolds. And, of course, just before we start, our main man up here, Mr. John Cocky McBride, ladies and gentlemen, from Taranaki. Good to see you here again, John. You've been here for the last 43 years, and you started when you were 43. So welcome back, John. And Kerry Irvine here for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, from the Nelson region. Great to have Kerry here, 2 commentators, along with myself and Tuma. So welcome along, boys. Looking forward to a good night.
Oh, we're certainly in for a hot one, all right. We already have the green light on, so our timekeepers are ready. The referee for tonight's event is Mr. Phil Morrison. He's going along just checking that the shearers are quite happy with their job. We don't need them in the pen too long. They're allowed a quick look at their sheep, but we need to entertain. And don't be afraid to get your voice out and honk and holler for your favourites, because they'll be leaving it all on the board tonight. The sponsors for this Bailey's Real Estate, along with many other sponsors around the hall, I might add. Too many to mention just at the moment, but do take care and support our sponsors in the next 12 months. So just about ready to go. Bill Morrison needs to come out of that pen. We're good to go. We've got a green.
So we'll go.
Looks like Casey Bailey's trying to pull a quick one. All clear. Okay, we're ready to go. Timekeepers right, judges, competitors, go. Into the pen for the first time. Tamanini from Gisborne. There on the front stand, Casey Bailey, Riverton, Sam Welch, Whaikera
Quarterfinal, and this is an 8 competition shootout. And we've got Tamanini on the board, and you can see the clock is on the sides and it'll be ticking away. This is a young man from Gisborne, and we've often called him Tama, the hit man. Nia. Up the neck he goes. He's having a little bit of a trouble there. Oh, these sheep are a new sheep. These are the sheep we don't normally shear at the Golden Shears. We normally shear bag shot sheep, but this year we've got a new lineup of sheep, Doug.
Yeah, indeed. As you can see, he's got a bit of effort going there. Tama here doesn't shear a lot of shows apart from the ones up on Hawke's Bay on the east coast. Great Raihania shears at Hastings and the Poverty Bay and P Show and the Wairarapa Show. But as I said earlier, he's usually right up amongst wherever he does shear.
He's certainly going down nicely, and this is the first of 8 competition sheep. And as you look along the bottom of the screen, you can see the quality that's coming through. The first sheep's going out. The time, we haven't got the stopwatch working on the right-hand side there, so we'll just have to make a guess, and I think it'll probably be about 57 seconds. He goes in for sheep number 2. There he goes, in for sheep number 2. Onto the board, he comes out with sheep number 2, the boy from Gisborne. There we go. We're going down to Riverton in the South Island, Casey Bailey. There he goes. The first sheep's going out, and he's right on the top. And we had Raylene Kirkpatrick talking to us about those clocks earlier on. The shearers have got to stay in the red. If they're in the green, they're a little bit off the mark and a little bit off the quality cut, Doug.
Yeah, that's an amazing way of looking at it. Casey here was a former top senior shearer, won a New Zealand senior title. I think he got runner-up here at Golden Shears in the senior some years, and one of these guys, very good senior shearer, and has served that apprenticeship really in the open grade 4 or 5 seasons, now making it here at the Golden Shears in the Open Championship.
He certainly is making it. He turns to the last side. We don't know the time at the moment. We've just got our stopwatch working on it, but you can see the shot of those 3 young shearers. Near. Casey Bailey, Sam Welsh, you could throw a blanket over those shearers and you'll just about catch the whole lot of them, Doug.
Yeah, indeed. There's Sam, who's going to be first to the change here. In fact, there's Sam from Waikato to, as I said, up there in Port Waikato.
He's into the belly. Here he is, Sam Welch from Waikato. He's originally from Dannyverk, and he's the guy that starred, like you see it in the film Mahana, or was an advisor for that film. And that's a beautiful film that was based on a family from Gisborne. Up the neck goes Sam Welsh. Oh, that one wants to do a little bit of booging with him. It wants to do a little bit of twerking as he works away. Look at the beautiful shots we're getting out of this Noise Productions. Onto the first shoulder, right in there, focus right in there. Let's have a look. There's a little bit of a wind back, and look at that control over that sheep. We just better let you know, folks, these are not tame animals. These are wild animals, and the skill required to control the sheep. Footwork's perfect. Round the last side he goes, and there he goes, popping down the last side. Sam Welsh, sheep number 3. The left-hand side of the screen is telling us who's on sheep number 4. We've got some speeds down the end on stands 5 and 6, Doug.
Yeah, that's David Burke and Tootie Edmonds. And now we've got Michael Favors. Got his 4. In fact, we're now all got number 4 except for Tamanir, who's now onto his 4th.
Wow, isn't that instant information? People at home are getting a good close-up, and they're really right on it. And like we said, at this level, this is the top 30. The Baileys shear off the Baileys top 30 shootout, and the top prize to take us through is about $4,000 and a trip to the beautiful country of France. Vive la France. Down the last side is Michael Fabish, throwing everything at it. He wants to make that cut to the next 12.
Exactly, Michael, very good senior shearer about 10 years ago, and I think took a bit of a break or some time off to get things like the farm in order and all that sort of thing, and he's now started to get back into a few more competitions, particularly in the last 2 seasons.
The belly goes out of there for David Buick. This is Wairarapa's man, and I believe this guy is probably second in command at the moment. There's three very good shearers in the North Island, Roland Smith, John Kirkpatrick, and then we better slot this man in at third place. Well, he's doing well enough. He's made some big finals, and has he got the physique to do it? Well, I believe he has, because he is just so focused. Down the last side comes David Buick. Look at the shots there. The armchair people at home have got the best seats in the house as we go down the last side, and look at the way that sheep is absolutely polished, Doug.
Exactly, that's David Buick. Once he clocks it all together at the same time, he's very tough to beat. So if he can clock it right through in these 8 sheep, he will be fairly near to the top of the qualifying order tonight.
Oh, well, we go down to the young guy, Turi here, Edmonds from Raitihi. Down the last side he goes, and there's a camera going on him at the moment. Young guy, I'm not quite sure if he's made the top 30 before, Doug.
I think he could be right. I think this could be his first time.
What a thrill for this young man, and into the belly he goes. So him and David Buick are the only shearers. Oh no, somebody must be Michael Favish has picked up sheep number 6 as well. Well, into the belly. Look at that beautiful animal. What a beautiful job these boys are doing, and look at this. The sheep, the care that's taken to remove the fleece off that sheep is absolutely forefront of the shearers. The committee here are all about animal welfare, looking after these beautiful animals. Then to Undermine. Back to Casey Bailey. Undermine comes up for Casey Bailey. He's going underneath there. Sheep number 6 on the board for Casey Bailey. 2 more in the pen, Doug.
Okay, who's your bet and who's going to come off first there, Koro?
Well, we're just going to have a look at it. We might take a wide shot. We'll go back and see how the top 6 shearers are going. Here they are. This is the quality points going at the moment, and it looks like it is Casey Bailey with the quality at the moment.
Yep, Shearing right up to the mark. Casey, the boy from Riverton, he was based around the Wairarapa for a while, so he has a good idea of what sheep are like in this part of the country.
Down the last side these boys go, and I think Tamania might have passed him, and he said, "Dee-dee, goodbye, man." Down the last side, and Tamania's wound up. He's really fired up now. Into the pen he goes, and this is a beautiful wide shot. We know where everybody's... Look at that, David Buick. He's half a sheep ahead of anybody else.
And then Casey Bailey and Michael Fabish into the pens.
They're going in the pens, but down the last side is David Buick, and the quality points are starting to stick with David Buick. 26.9, and he's really out on his own. 1 more sheep in the pen, folks, and he's gone sheep number 8. That one wasn't a very cooperative sheep, Doug.
Yeah, you've always got to have one, and that's the one thing that David has to worry about is one sheep can do quite a bit of damage to your chances.
Look at the graphics that are coming up. We're living in the robot age. The Undermine, we don't really want a robot to do that, but under the Undermine there, Buick has got the gear just humming along nicely. These sheep from White Spur, round the side of the ear he goes. He's working his way onto the long blow. 29.7 at the moment is his total quality points. And David Buick, the Wairarapa man, is really starting to put a little bit of this distance into them. Turi Edmonds is just going in for sheep number 8, and this guy, David Buick, is coming down the last side. Fabish goes in, Bailey goes in, Undermine time for Tamaninia. Tamaninia would be second in command, but at the moment, Doug, it's all David Buick.
Yeah, and there he goes. Fastest time, he was only about 12 or 13 seconds, I think, off the pace during the heats earlier in the day, despite the fact that he was actually 12th qualifier.
He was 12th qualifier. Well, he's had a good year, and he'd be wanting to make that next 12, because it's a big cut from 30 down to 12.
Well, exactly.
It's cruel.
Exactly, and some people say this is the toughest year of your life.
Toughest year. Getting out of the top 30 is the hardest one. And my mate Phil O'Shaughnessy has always said that too. That's the hardest one. We turn to the last side. To here, he's starting to get a bit high in his numbers. Bailey's getting a little bit high. They're all started to hit the 33. We'll take a little bit of a look at the overall picture. But down the last side, the young man from Riverton, Waiponamu, the South Island boys, just about ready to flick off now. The quarterfinals, heat number 1, folks, out there. And we're coming to a close, and it looks like it's all over. If we can get the wide shot, we'll see where we are at. Wonderful. and then we'll just go back to the boys in the stadium, and they'll call on the next one. But at this stage, David Buick, he's pulled up at 31.9. I think Tamaniania might be on 31.
Tama's on 34.
34.
Yep.
So 32, David Buick, 32.446. And you folks don't understand it, the lower the total points on the right-hand side of your TV screen, that's the one that you see. So if you've got a little bit of a pad at home, write it down. And David Buick sure well, didn't he?
Exactly. No, I think he's on the way there.
Who was the closest to him?
Yeah, good question. I think Casey might have pulled back a little bit there at the finish.
Somebody's on 35.
Yeah. It's Tamania 35. Yeah, here we are.
Oh, he's way out on his own. He's in the zone, that man. The closest man to him is Sam Welsh, 35.323. So there you go. That's the first one, and that's always the hard one, Doug, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's hard one. They don't know where everybody else is going to be, so they've really got to just get out there and do their very best, which I guess it goes with the territory, of course, but no, she is hard getting out in that first heat.
We'll go back to the stadium to the boys that are bringing on the next heat.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's give these guys a hand as they come up. Let's really pump them up. Let's get the blood going. On stand number 6, he is from Australia, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mind if you don't clap too much. Jason Wingfield.
Go, Jace. Stand number 1, ladies and gentlemen, he needs no introduction to Shearing sports fan, the man himself, Roland Smith.
On stand number 5, from Pleasant Point and through, ladies and gentlemen.
On stand 2, folks, from the deep south, Leon Samuels.
And another South Islander boy from Matota, Brett Roberts, ladies and gentlemen. He is an up-and-coming peeler.
Go the south. And on stand number 3, folks, the current world individual shearing champion, Johnny Kirkpatrick. So what a lineup again, Tuma. Like we said, the world's best shearers are here today. They can set up their gear and get ready. And like John said, athletes, every single one of them. Not an ounce of fat along their board. They're just highly tuned athletes.
Of course, they've seen the event previous, the first heat. They know how the sheep are performing. A very experienced eye. They won't even need to go into their pens. They should be able to just look over the top and say, I want the big ones first or the small ones first. So they'll just get anyone that comes to the door. They are well-prepared sheep, thanks to the crutches, the truckies, the people out the back. And, of course, when we cut all this wool off, it goes out the back into the backyard, and they press it all up and send it all home to the farmer. No glitz and glamour out in the pressing arena. There's male and female pressers out there working tirelessly at least 3/4 to an hour after the shearing.